an unexpected event. Every morning when Grandfather lifted Clara into her wheelchair, he made her stand with both feet on the ground. At first she cried out in pain, but each day she stood for a little longer. Clara was longing to see the pasture, so one morning Grandfather put her wheelchair ready outside the cottage before going inside to make breakfast. Just then Peter came by with the goats. The sight of the wheelchair made him very angry. He thought that if the wheelchair disappeared, Clara would have to go back to Frankfurt, and he would have Heidi all to himself again. Without another thought, he pushed the wheelchair with all his might. It rolled down the mountainside and smashed to pieces on the rocks far below. Peter laughed loudly, then ran all the way to the pasture. When Grandfather brought Clara outside, he couldn't think what had happened to the wheelchair. But it didn't stop Clara from going to the pasture. Grandfather carried her all the way there. Peter's heart sank when he saw her, but he said nothing. Clara and Heidi spent a wonderful day on the pasture. Heidi wanted Clara to see all the most beautiful flowers which grew at the other side of the pasture. Clara couldn't see them from where she was sitting, and Heidi called Peter to help her to lift Clara. At first Peter refused, but at last he agreed to help. Peter and Heidi held Clara tightly round her waist, and Heidi told Clara to take a step. Clara tried and cried out in pain, but the second step she took didn't hurt so much. Then, almost before she knew it, she had taken several steps, with Peter and Heidi still helping her. She was so excited she could hardly speak. To think that she could walk. When Grandfather returned, he was delighted to hear that Clara had taken a few steps, but he didn't want her to get too tired, so he carried her all the way home. The next day, Clara took a few more steps, this time with Grandfather helping her. Heidi sat down and wrote to Grandmama, inviting her to the arm once more, but she didn't tell her that Clara had started to walk. It was to be a surprise.